Hey, hi, and welcome back to Trend Watch 777. Um, this video is very important, and I'm really doing it because I want to. I can't stress enough the importance of educating yourself and teaching your children in the home about Black history if you are a Black American, and if you're a white American too, that doesn't have an issue with the truth, teaching the truth instead of living a lie. So this administration wants to, the killer of Medgar Evers, to stop being referred to as a racist. So for those of you who are not familiar with who Medgar Evers was, he was a prominent civil rights activist and the first field secretary for the NAACP in Mississippi, who assassination in 1963 made him a martyr for the civil rights movement. Early life and military service. Medgar Willie O'Reilly Evers was born on July 2nd, 1925, in Decatur, Mississippi. He grew up in a segregated society where he faced overt racism from a young age. After high school, he served in the U.S. Army during World War WW2, where he fought in Europe. This experience exposed him to different attitudes towards race, which influenced his commitment to civil rights upon returning home. Civil rights activism. Evers became the first field secretary for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, that's the NAACP, in Mississippi in 1954. I wasn't even born in 1954. He worked tirelessly to combat racial segregation and discrimination, focusing on voter registration, economic opportunities, and access to public facilities for African Americans. Evers was instrumental in organizing local civil rights activities and was involved in significant events, including efforts to integrate the University of Mississippi. Assassination and legacy. On June 2nd, 1963, Evers was assassinated outside his home in Jackson, Mississippi, just hours after President John F. Kennedy delivered a speech advocating for civil rights. His murder was a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement, sparking national outrage and leading to increased support for civil rights legislation. Edgar's death galvanized activists and highlighted the dangers faced by those fighting for equality. In recognition to his contributions, Eggers was posthumously, post after death, awarded the NAACP Spiggarn Medal, and his home has been designated as a national monument. His legacy continues to inspire generations in the ongoing struggle for civil rights and social justice. Conclusion: Medgar Evers remained a symbol of the fight against racial injustice in America. His dedication to civil rights and the sacrifices he made have left an indelible mark on the history of the United States, reminding us of the ongoing need for equality and justice for all. And I really thank Medgar Evers and Martin Luther King and all the Black activists who was fighting for my rights as well as your rights way before I was born. I wasn't born until 1966. So before 1966, they was just living in another world. So I'm thankful and I'm happy that I was born in '66, because before then it's just, oh my God, I don't think I would have made it. Knowing my mouth and the way I am, oh man, I know I wouldn't have made it. Okay, so now the person who killed Eggers, Brian De La Beckwith, Medgar Evers was killed by Brian De La Beckwith. He was a white supremacist, and that's what Trump wants everybody to stop saying, that he was a racist. And he was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. On June 2nd, 1963, De La Beckwith was convicted of the murder over 30 years later. Can you imagine? 30 years later, in February 5th, 1944. Mm, mm, mm. Man, 30 years later, but that just makes me want to cry. That makes me want to. Mm. So now we're going to go over here and watch a video and shout out to Roland S. Martin. And they're talking about, they're having a panel discussion of Trump don't call Medgar Evers assassin a racist. Let's get it. Let's go.
Administration. We got the 250th anniversary of the country this year, and they are trying to strip all of the truth out. We already saw what they did with the slavery exhibit in Philadelphia. So this is what they're doing in Mississippi.
Yeah, they just in Philadelphia. They just went and I think it was the Washington home where they stripped down all that, all anything that he didn't agree with that actually happened. Everything that was up on those monuments happened, and he just went and took them down. There's a court order that they were supposed to check in first instead of just going in and doing what they wanted to do. But of course, he didn't check in. He just stripped it and took them all down.
Mississippi. This is from Mississippi Today. There are pamphlets that pass out when you go visit the Medgar and Merle Evers Home National Monument. The pamphlets they pass out. They now have edited the brochures that reference Byron De La Beckwith. This is the racist, the violent racist who assassinated Medgar Evers in his driveway. He died in front of his wife and his children. And they have edited they removed any references to him. They've eliminated also the reference to saying Medgar Evers was lying in a pool of blood after being shot. They also, the original brochures pulled from the home called Beckwith a member of the racist and segregationist White Citizens Council. Now they don't want to say that. Now you got to keep in mind, Trump signed this executive order calling for restoring truth and sanity to American history. And so Doug Burgum, who was the Interior Secretary who oversees the Park Service, his own order called for the removal of descriptions, depictions, or other content that inappropriately disparage Americans past or living, including persons living in colonial times, and instead focus on the greatness of the achievements and progress of the American people, or with respect to national features, the beauty, abundance, and the grandeur of the American landscape. So let me go ahead.
So I guess he wants to take the great white America. This makes me want to do something.
Unpack that for y'all.
Yes.
What they really are saying is, don't call them racist. Don't call them slave holders. Don't say that Thomas Jefferson, don't say that Sally Hemings was a woman who bore his children. Don't say she got raped. Don't say that she was owned. They don't want to say none of that. But
almost like they want to say pretend like slavery didn't even exist, period. This is really, it's so heartbreaking, and this is hard to sit up here for me because I'm black, And it's just so hard for me to sit up here and to actually hear something like this. It just really, really makes me angry. It just really makes me angry. And that's why I said it's just so important that we have to educate ourselves and treat ourselves before they just like to whitewash everything. And we're going to be learning a lie. Get to learn the truth and walk in your truth and be proud of who you are, because this administration, they just wiping it, just trying to wipe the whole like dark side of what happened during slavery. Just want to just totally whitewash that. Just they it oh
If when you talk about Byron De La Beckwith, this man didn't give a damn. This man he did not care, don't care. He was a violent racist to the end. He was nasty. He was despicable. And see when you go, you go to mind. See when you go to Jackson, they have a whole. This when I was there. This is the home. It's in that driveway right there. You see on the left. That's where he got. That's where he was shot and killed. Byron De La Beckwith's
wow.
punk ass, as he
I'm surprised Trump don't want to. He haven't went over there and torn down a house yet. That's a national like a museum, or
rest in hell because he was an evil son of a bitch. He fired at him from across the street, killing him, and was finally brought to justice decades later.
30
But
years.
but but that's who this man is. And see, Donald Trump, they want to strip all of this. They want to strip all of this. So when you go there, let me fast forward this video. So when you go there, you'll see. So this is what it looks like right here. So you'll see they have they have the sign out there. So this is a part of that home now is part of the U.S. Park Service. So what you're going
Okay.
to see is when I was visiting that, when you come around
Okay, I said it's a national museum. He said it's part of the National Park Service now.
that corner, you're going to actually see how they have descriptions on the outside of the house, what took place. It was closed that day, so we couldn't go inside. But you see right here, you see how they have all these descriptions. So what you're seeing right here, what Donald Trump wants to do, where you see these descriptions, where you see explanations, they want to strip anything that hurts the feeling of white folks from
Mm.
this. This shows you the evil of these people. And so that executive order, oh, no, no, no. Let's talk about just how amazing and wonderful and the grandeur of America. They don't want this generation to know about the heinous, evil.
Right, and that's why I think you got to teach our young people, because they're not going to learn any of our history in school. You have to teach them, and knowledge is power. And then that way, when they if they are bullied in school, being called the N word, being called monkeys, give them bananas, they know how to respond and stand up 10 toes down. Because I'm tired of our young children being bullied in school and then going home crying. No, send them white little kids home crying. Why we got to bow down to them and bow down to their hurt? I'm so sick of that. Teach your kids how to stand up and stand strong. That's crazy.
Shameful crimes committed by folks in this country, Greg. That's why they want to ban books. That's why at Texas A&M the regents want to control what's taught in the classrooms. That's why they want to control the curriculum, because they do not want the next generation and the next generation to
Right.
truly
Right. But it's okay. Those are the white kids. They know their history. They know the history. They come to school like, you little nigger, you little slave this, you little that, you little that. It's okay. They're being taught. So why can't you teach your own kids? And then and tell them how to stand up to those little white bull. Okay, I quit. All right, I'm getting
know about the heinous, despicable history of America and its treatment of African American people of African descent, of Asian Americans, of Latinos, of women. They don't want folk to know none of that stuff. They just want everybody to keep believing the lie of George Washington chopping down a cherry tree and how everybody else was go along, get along.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with the thing right in front of us, and thank you for sharing that footage, Roland.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple of times, and it's something to stand in that under that portico, isn't it? And realize this is where Medgar Evers lost his life. First thing is they will be going to court. Somebody's going to court in Philadelphia. Shout out to our brother Michael Cord and the Avenging the Ancestors Coalition. I was actually on a call with Mike and the crew, including a crack team from the University of Pennsylvania Law School, a clinic there led by one of the sisters who's a lawyer there and a law professor there. They went into court. Shout out again to Sherelle Parker, the mayor of Philadelphia, who instructed the city solicitor to go in. And it was a George Bush appointee, the judge there, as has been talked about here, who went in. Actually, she went in, I want to say this past Monday. The arguments were heard Friday, and then Monday she said, show me where you took all the stuff that you took down, and issued an injunction. Don't touch nothing else. So the first thing is to go to court, and the cause of action, at least the legal argument, will be that you are discriminating against Black people. It's a racial discrimination argument. It's 14th Amendment argument. And I think that they have a great chance at success. But that's the legal question. The broader question, I think, I'm not ambivalent. We're all 10 toes down to fight for ourselves. What I am is very clear. I embrace Donald Trump and Doug Burgum, all these people from Klan Central Casting. I embrace them all. We remember what happened 50 years ago in 1976. Black people in that same city of Philadelphia we've been talking about went to the mayor, a purebred racist named Frank Rizzo, former police commissioner, and said, you're going to put public dollars behind an African-American museum in Philadelphia, or everybody coming to this city to celebrate the bicentennial, we're going to have a dance. And that is where the Philadelphia African-American Museum came from. It is also the year that Black folk around the country organized, and the first National Afro-American Museum and Cultural Center was erected in Wilberforce. This is the 250th anniversary. Let me be crystal clear about this, in case anybody is not clear. I don't give a damn about the United States of America. You celebrate your settler colony any kind of way you want. Byron De La Beckwith is your brother. You should embrace him. You should elevate him. You should put his face on the money. Do what you want, because this is what you're going to reap. Since you're going to reap the wind, you sow the wind, you're going to reap the whirlwind. Guess what? Wasn't there a Black kid under the center for the University of Mississippi that took you within a hair's breadth of the national championship? As we get all this other stuff restored to the parks, guess what? Let's print up our own pamphlets. Let's go out there and hand them out. And let's tell everybody that you will be out of your young Black mind if you go throw a football for Ole Miss. Let these white boys repopulate their football teams. Let these white girls go play basketball. I don't care whether it's South Carolina. I don't care whether it's Ole Miss or University of Texas. Y'all can go to hell. You can keep your settler ass country, because this time we're not going to pull you out of the fire. And if you come on this property and try to take something out of our hands after we done printed these pamphlets, you're going to find out something else. And that's when these white boys going to find out they ain't got the muscle. I'm saying, let's just finally have this out. Let's just finally have this out.
Thelma?
It's going to pop. It's going to pop, because I don't believe much longer, especially if we go out and educate ourselves and know who we are as human being and as a person, and where we come from, and how strong and resilient we are, and stop being so ghetto all the time. Stand up. You're better than who these people say you are. And that's why that's why I'm doing this video. I don't want to do too many of these videos because I get heated. It just does something to me. I just really be ready to ugh. So, but I did this particular video because I want to emphasize and stress the importance of educating yourself about, especially our history, because they're trying to, this administration is just trying to wipe everything out, want to whitewash and happy white. So no, go and educate yourself and stand 10 toes down, y'all.
Sign me up. Where I put my name at to be a part, because I'm ready. on site. You hear me? The one thing
On site.
They can get it. Trust and believe.
And I believe it's coming. I believe it's coming. The more and more we're going to get. So we're already tired of it right now. And it's the younger generation that they're going after. They want them to walk around all dumb and stupid, and not know, who they are, and keep letting these little white boys and girls that bully your little child in school, sending them home day after day. And you got the little black children, so young little babies out there committing suicide because of the bully and what's going on in the classroom. We get it from the teachers, we get it from other students. But when do we stand up for us? Stop. I just hate it so much. It just hurts my heart that the kids, the little kid, they're not equipped to stand up for themselves for what's right. If somebody call you the N-words and say something back, you ain't got to sit up there and take it. I'm not talking about physically fighting, but don't put your head down and like in shame. There's nothing shame. You're not what they call you. That's why you got to teach your little boys and girls, you little black babies, beautiful little kids, who they are. Don't let nobody stand up and call you out your name, call you the N-word, call you the little black monkey and this and that. No. Don't know. And that's why you got to educate yourself. When you're talking about fighting, you'll be tired of it, man.
The same thing that you're saying about Ole Miss is the same thing that needs to be said about LSU, and how Louisiana is doing the exact same thing. And when I think about my nieces who are 9 years old and how they are not being enriched in school with our history, I remember growing up and being so excited about Black History Month. Every year, because I knew I was going to get to learn and take in our rich history. And that's when we felt seen. Because
I don't know. I wasn't seen. I was the only little black girl in my all white class in Black History come along. I was like, they didn't really teach Black history, especially I'm the only little, black girl in the classroom. Black girl, I'm the only black person in my class. And I really don't remember anything being taught that I remember about anything about Black history. So that's why, again, education starts at home. It's just, I can't stress that enough.
We got to not only report on our people, but we got to be embraced for the culture and the richness of who we've always been. And when you see that they're trying to take away our legacy, and some of the legacy is being as dark because of them, it shows you the power of us knowing who we are that they don't want us to remember.
Exactly.
They want to wipe every piece of history that makes them look bad and shows that we were the victim. Because how dare they still have to live with the evidence of their ancestors. And we can't live with the truth of ours. That's one of the reasons why I don't care where I go. I always encourage people to learn and go to these historical sites. One of my favorite sites is the Equal Justice Initiative Museum. Every time you go in that museum, you are going to come out a changed person. Something is going to invoke in that emotion to see and feel the essence of what we went through. And that's what they want to wipe away. But they then fucked around and found out, because we're not doing it laying down at all.
What I keep saying to black folks is,
I totally concur to what she said, and I don't want to rush this video, but I do want to go on. So I wanted to play to the end so that I can take a break. I don't like doing videos where I just get so worked up. I don't want to say nothing to turn anybody off, and I don't want to, come across as being mean or, hateful, because I'm not. But it does just makes me angry where, ugh, it just makes me angry. But it would just makes me so happy if you would just teach your children and teach yourself, educate yourself about who you are and where you come from, and let your children know where they come from, because they don't need to be going to school and then they're not equipped to stand up for themselves. And I'm not advocating any kind of physical violence or confrontation or anything like that. But, if it comes down to it, teach them how to kick butt. For real. Don't let nobody hit your child. And tell your child, don't let nobody put their hands on them. So, yeah, take them to some karate classes and teach them. You got to teach them because it's rough. And like I said, they want to change. They want to wipe us off. If they can, they can just wipe it. They would like to wipe us off the face of the map, and everything. Everything is so white. Everything is so hunky dory. So no, but that's not the reality. The reality is that our children is going to school with these other children who may be part of a household that is part of a KKK and part of the white supremacists, and then those children is being taught to hate. And don't teach your children to hate. Just teach them who they are and equip them to stand up in the face of adversity and tell them not to back down, because too many of our youngins has committed suicide because of the bulliness. They can't take it because they're not equipped. They don't know. You haven't taught them anything. You just send them out there to the wolves. They're lambs. They're little babies. Come on now.
And I've always said this about Black on Media Matters. Don't you leave it up to somebody who don't look like you to tell your story.
All right.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking when you were walking around that museum with your camera and you were taking pictures of the captionings or the text that was on the museums. Museums aren't decoration, it's the truth. It is where our stories have been told. It is where we're trying to keep those memories alive. And they've never allowed us to keep our memories alive. And that's been the importance of oral history. That's the importance of, you need to celebrate those Black newspapers in your town. You need to celebrate the Roland Martins of the world. You need to celebrate the end of NAACP and NAN and all of these organizations that keep our history alive and let us know that we are in history right now. We are making history. It's our responsibility to pass it on to our children. We go to these schools and they whitewash our history, and it looks like corporate gaslighting, if you ask me. Everything Trump is doing in that office, every decision he's making, is to undermine the progress that we have made. And if we're not going to go backwards, we have to make sure that we're keeping this history alive, that we are supporting the institutions that are supporting us, that we are listening to our Black college radio stations and media stations, and really supporting those not only with our eyes and with our ears, but with our finances. That's really important. We have to, if you have talent to write, or if you have talent to do anything that allows people to be able to know what's going on in your communities and making it to where your communities can understand what's going on right now, it's a collective responsibility. It's a collective responsibility to take pictures, to keep that history alive. And it started with us. We can't keep putting it off and keep waiting for them to get it right, or to not act like they're not trying to remove all aspects of DEIA. And it's bad for immigrants, disabled people, people of color, Black. No matter what part of the spectrum you're on, you're being impacted. And even if you thought you couldn't be impacted as a brown person, you're being impacted. Your families are being impacted. So what are we going to do about it? Are we going to keep quiet, or are we going to keep our history alive and keep making history? Use social media for something that makes sense. write something, make an op-ed. It's too easy. And with ChatGPT, you can find out how to do it if you don't know how to do it. So I think it's just a call to us to make sure we keeping our history alive, make sure we're going to these museums and we're documenting what's in these museums.
Good. I appreciate what she said. I appreciate this whole video. All right, so let's see what some of the comments were saying. Only a racist would attempt to cover up racism. If you don't know and understand your past, you are doomed to repeat it. Trump's father and grandfather were both part of the KKK. Yeah, I heard of that. No surprises. Shaking my head. The more they try to hide the truth, the more we see. I can't imagine the lies they're going to try to say about what happened to Emmett Till. Next. America really hasn't changed. Racism and the discrimination are in the fabric of a country. Yes, it is. It's in the very fabric of it. Right in the roots. Yep. The racists can't see a racist when they are racist against the same race. Okay, why don't they just leave us alone? Leave us the muck alone. For some reason, they're not going to leave us alone. This is the real cancel culture, protecting the feelings of white people. All right, so my God, that took me through a loop. Doing this took me through a loop. It took a lot of my energy. So, but like I said, please educate yourself, educate your children, give them the tools to go out and to this world. Like I said, the little lambs, and they, even though they're going into a school where they other children are their age, but other children may be evil. They may come from a different environment from what your child come from. So just give them the tools to deal with issues that come up. That you can't. I mean, even though they're little kids, but we're living in a wicked world. So they have to be equipped to deal with whatever situation that they're going to go out into, because mommy and daddy is not going to be in a classroom with them all the time and not know, and won't be there to defend them, even against the teachers. You got to teach them and equip them to stand up to adults and a teacher. When a teacher stand in front of the class and call you the N-word in front of all those other children, when a teacher stand up in the class and say, well, black people it's inferior to white people, and the white race is better than this. No, you got to tell your child, no, that is not true, and teach them how to stand up to that teacher when she disrespecting the whole black race in front of in front of the classroom. You have to equip your children. That's all I'm saying. Just stop the madness. I'm in this video right here. I'm out, y'all. Be blessed.